all is in sync, and you couldn't be happier at our little place. When I come home to you, after a hard day's done, looking forward to your face, your embrace. Oh, it feels so good. And when you turn on that smile, and baby, oh, what a smile. I know my troubles disappear the very moment you are near. What a joy to come home at the end of the day and find love. Oh, what love. I'm talking about love here at our little place. Hoping you'll be there makes my day sail away. Knowing that you care for me, only me. Oh, it feels so good. And when hello is a kiss, and baby, oh, what a kiss. I know the night's just begun, and we're really gonna have some fun. What a joy to come home at the end of the day and find love. Oh, what love. I'm talking about love here at our little place. Should we go out to dance, or stay right here and do what they do down at the Copa? Why don't we just stay home? We can make the music candlelight and wine. Why get all dressed up when we can undress here just fine and make sweet love? We could go on forever, lost together here at our little place. Our little place. Our little place. Come on, let's get barefoot, a glass of champagne. Our little place. Make a quiche, warm a croissant, another glass of champagne at our little place. Our little place. So our little place does describe a nice, cordial, romantic little setting for two people to be together. This next story is not quite as romantic, but it still does have an interesting setting. Again, back in Montpellier, France, there were a number of monasteries all around the area, from Perpignan, Frontignan, that because the volcanic ash here, the ground was so terrific that it was fertile for doing many types of grapes and wines. It was famous for that. In the monasteries, a lot of these monasteries grew the vines themselves and grew the whiskey and the wine themselves. They were called whiskey priests, a lot of them. We had such one of these priests that came into the hospital very sick from, again, a glioblastoma multiforme, the type of brain tumor I mentioned before, that is the worst brain cancer you can have. At any rate, we did his surgery, resected as best we could, and then we sent him back to the monastery. A couple of weeks later, we get an emergency phone call. This was on a wintry, stormy Saturday night, that he was failing. And we felt that even though we had left a good deal of room up in his head, there was an accumulation of spinal fluid that was causing too much pressure. And my professor told me to go there and do a spinal tap to try and relieve some of this pressure. Now, normally, if you have a brain tumor that's that big, you don't do a spinal tap because that can cause downward herniation of the brain. But in this case, there was enough room, and the problem was the fluid buildup. At any rate, I, in those days, had a Simca Mill, which was a takeoff of a Chrysler. It was a small square car, and I drove it in the middle of the night out to find this monastery after getting directions. Don't forget, we didn't have any navigation systems in those days. So I was kind of hurtling along the country back roads in my car trying to make out where the heck I was. I finally, after about an hour or so, did come to the base of the monastery which was situated up on a high mountain hill. At the bottom, as I came there, just to paint the picture, there was thunder and lightning and bolts of lightning coming down into the trees and penetrating, really lighting up the sky in a 4th of July-like atmosphere. And at the gate, there was very ornate type of steel gate that was artistically very well designed, and the gate was open, and in the driveway there I saw a figure jumping up and down, waving his hands in a dark outfit with a hood, and particularly curious that I noticed one of the arms was not an arm, but it was a hook, like an old pirate, and every once in a while the lightning would sort of bounce off around that area and would light it up even more dramatically. I stopped him and identified myself and asked him to come in the car, and he wouldn't do it. He said, "No, just follow me." So he started running up this snake-like entrance into the monastery, running helter-skelter, sort of like Ichabod Crane, it seemed, and running away from the headless horseman. And he manages to get to the top of the cliff there where the monastery was. They let me into the monastery, greeted me, took me upstairs. So I performed my procedure, and then after they invited me and insisted that I have some sweet goodies and wine, a glass of wine and muscat, I then very carefully drove back home, getting back probably around 5 or 6 in the morning to the safe confines of my house back in Montpellier.